Konene. So jana ilikuwa ni Jamhuri Day, and one of the things that happened ilienda make headlines, but for a lot of people watu wengi waliona kwa TV, but kama uko hizi area za Langata constituency, then you actually felt what happened, and ikitu ilikuwa scary sana. I remember that after nisikia hii sound, I had to actually go to the balcony and try and look if I was going to see like ni a bellowing of smoke ama sijui ni word gani utumikaga, lakini kwa na-expect nione smoke. Na kwa nashindwa na bonga jua nini, kitu ilikuwa covered na news, and apparently end up cause more damage than I thought like it did, cause area yangu of course haiku cause any significant damage. So kicheki kuna places glass zimepasuka, acha nikwambia the already safe. So okay. Wacha tusikize.
Still on Jamhuri Day, panic erupted at Nyayo Stadium today when a military jet thundered dangerously low over the crowd, startling President William Ruto and other dignitaries. Windows shattered, walls cracked, and thousands of shillings in damages were reported in the nearby Nairobi West. Residents are demanding government compensation, saying the jet flew lower than ever before, causing destruction never seen during past flyovers, as Willie Lusige reports.
Military jets and choppers have long wowed crowds during national celebrations, showcasing the Defence Force's skill and readiness to defend the skies.
Of course, kabla tuendelee, lazima niseme kitu moja. It's good kuona hizi third world things tukijichocha, but at the end of the day niko sure, especially wale wala misutuma mabiraya za states zinapangavu zikala isi ni kitu ya 1982 kwa hapa bado, because of course technology yetu ikikam to military na kuaga iko nyuma kabisa. But yes, this was scary, and ataka mcheki Ruto. The only thing that surprised me was the soldiers inaka somehow they're used to that level of sound, because for the rest of us, what?
But Friday's Jamhuri Day flyover was somewhat unusual as the Northrop F-5 Tiger II fighter jet roared over the packed stadium. The celebrations took a frightening turn.
Hiyo place maka Ruto iko so ni chiki kuna raya ziko zina jokes kwa umseni muaga nini buda jo. Mimi nilikuwa kwa keja na hiki tu ile nishtua. I can try and imagine, even hata ukiwatch hii video uta notice wase wote walishtuka except the two soldiers. That's like one of the things that actually surprised me. The two soldiers did not even flinch, but the rest of us bana, hiki tu ilikuwa scary man. Na wacha tucheck tena.
President Ruto and other dignitaries instinctively flinched, sensing danger despite having seen such before.
Hiki tu ilikuwa loud. Wacha ni reiterate what I said. Hiki tu ilikuwa loud. Paka nilitoka nikasimama kwa balcony jo. Nikaanza kuangalia direction, kuangalia kuna anywhere is there smoke, because it felt like something had fallen. But that's just the sound of that. Alafu apart from that, baadaye nikachekizo like kulikuwa na 3 civilian looking helicopters that were making a lot of noise, and then after hizo 3 civilians ipite zikabaki zimepitwa na another 3 military, so there was a lot of noise, and it seems that this was more than noise for some people wale wako hizi area zetu za Langata constituency.
The jet wreaked havoc along its flight path, especially Nairobi West area. Windows were shattered, residents fled in panic, and homes were damaged.
Imagine out of the blue, you just hear some big noise and some, maybe like a blast when glasses break suddenly out of the blue. So far I don't think there's no damages regarding for health-wise injuries or anything, but...
Chikimsani tuwa basabra. Okay, damn. Alafu na chiki, sijui kwa umechikio keja, mpaka nini zimetoka, hizi ma light fittings zimedunda jo. So damn, place kama iko nini vile kuna na light fittings juu uptongolo. That's how loud that sound was. I have to keep insisting, like it was super loud.
But it costs people a lot to repair the glasses and so on.
Residents insist this was unusual. The low height of the plane caused damage and reportedly sparked fear among those of frail condition.
We want people to consider the safety procedures. I think this damage was caused because the jets flew low lower than expected. They're supposed to be flowing, I don't know.
Now residents are demanding safety guarantees and compensation to prevent future incidents.
Do I expect the Kenyan government to compensate you? No. Does this remind me of the episode tulifanyaga na na Ndovuku? Yes. Ndovuku alikuwa nasema there are so many buildings around airports. Hii place CC2 of course it's a little bit far. Na hii of course hii airport in kitu happen ilikuwa na happen Nyayo, but still you can try and imagine the amount of buildings zinakuaga your area ya Wilson, including a certain hotel. You can try and imagine how risky that is, because these people, all they need to do is do something they're not supposed to do, because this place is, I'd say, a distance from Nyayo. Na unaweza cheki vile lipitapo Nyayo, it was low, and the amount of sound tulisikia hapa, like it was so crazy, and you can try and imagine the amount of damage it could have caused kama ingeenda ikianguka. Woof.
We hope our government considers the damages and compensates us for what happened. People were frightened instead of them being happy and celebrating today as a public holiday. There's safety procedures regarding the jets passing by, making sure no one is harmed. It's a day for celebration. It's not a day for people being sad or any injuries. We don't know, maybe some injuries might be fatal, you know. People might mourn regarding that matter. We want it to be a really celebration day.
With a lot of effects in buildings near Nyayo Stadium, the residents of this area calling on the government to find a way to compensate them after a number of buildings were damaged.
Okay, I don't expect these people to be compensated, but yeah, what can I say, man? That was a loud sound. That only a loud sound paka kukikuwa nao wazee utafutaga to dem too young. Alafu na moyo siku umemeza ile dawa. Hiyo plane kipita unaenda na Yesu. Because your heart can't take that. The amount of blood. That's how loud that was. So that's one of the things that happened. But apart from that, then wacha tusikize the speeches. Because the speeches, one of the things that I ended up wondering is what did Raila do for Ruto, man? Like how much does he feel that he still owes him? Because damn, inafika level ile pia uko damn, wacha tusikize.
New Talanta Stadium, which is still under construction, is set to be renamed the Raila Odinga International Stadium upon its completion. The new development came after President William Ruto approved the renaming of the country's newest international sports facility from Talanta to Raila Odinga Stadium in memory of the legacy of the former premier. Seth Olale reports.
The proposal to rename the brand new Talanta Stadium to Raila Odinga International Stadium was made by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja during the 62nd Jamhuri Day celebrations at the Nyayo Stadium, Nairobi County.
Alafu ndio pate request kama hii. I'm sure this is something that was rehearsed. This can't be something that they just decided. Najua like wakiwa hapo utaitisha alafu mimi naenda kukubali. No, it looked like something planned. That's why I have to wonder, like, what happened last year, like, during the protests that made Ruto feel that indebted to Raila. Neza taka kujua, was it that bad vile wasalikuwa naandika online? Because I remember I used to dismiss his of story. Umseiko karibu kugive up, umseiko. Was it that bad? But tuendelee.
County.
Uwanja huo uite Raila Odinga International Stadium ili kumkumbuka baba wetu ambaye alituacha.
The party chairs and the secretary generals to join in.
Responding to Sakaja's remarks, President William Ruto started by leading the masses into eulogizing the former Prime Minister by observing a minute of silence in honor of the fallen legend.
Tafadhali na waomba tusimame kwa dakika moja kwa heshima ya kiongozi wetu Raila Odinga.
The head of state picking the cue from Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja.
So yeah, so Mechikiapo, so Pia, that's another thing that happened. I don't know which event happened, but there's an event I remember that happened straight after the funeral. I don't remember which event it was. Alafu watu walikuwa wanateta why wasn't there like a moment of silence for Raila. I don't remember what happened. I remember the president attended that, then wakasema hivyo, but now kwa hii Jamhuri Day he ended up doing the whole like moment of silence. And one of the things that this does is it wins him a lot of political points. I think that's one of the things that maybe a few people might take for granted. This wins him a lot of political points. Hiyo stories zote za renaming, stories za what, this is all strategic. Najua nitafanya hivi, nitafurahisha hawa, nitafanya hivi, nitafurahisha hawa. Kuzata ukienda kwa internet you'll see how divisive that renaming ended up being.
Mariga na mpira shoot. Lakini goalkeeper Mama Anu Maigura amenasa mpira bila wasiwasi.
Yes, Jace Kiaga. Oh, goalkeeper ni Anu Maigura, eh? Okay, damn.
Voicing his approving for the proposal to rename the iconic Talanta Stadium to Raila Amolo Odinga International Stadium amidst cheers from the crowd.
Mumesema ipatiwe jina la Raila Amolo Odinga International Stadium. Nimewasikiza na tukikamilisha tutafanya hivyo.
Nilisikia mtukufu rais kama naongea mambo na stadia. Nimekubali.
Kile kitu kuna bonga juu ya political points. Mambo na stadia. Nimekubali. Yeah. So saizi come to areas za Kisumu, this like ended up winning a lot of political points. But not just that. Pia kuna wale like outside Luo Nyanza kuna wasa wanakuwaga like my diehards kabisa wa Raila. So this is one of those where it ends up being like interesting for the opposition, because now the opposition has to work a little bit harder. Why? Because people forget. That's the worst thing about life. Like if the elections happened in 2024, people would not have forgotten like what happened last year, and people would not have forgotten what happened this year. But right now, depending on what happens between 2027 and 2025, if there is no a lot of killings, then utachiki. It's like the same thing that used to happen during Uhuru's time, where people would justify is the same thing that's going to happen. They're like, watu ndio walifanya vibaya, and it's going to be justified. Why? Because it's happened before. It's just that this time social media was truly involved, but kwa ground mambo imekuwa the same. Basically there's no significant change that has happened when it comes to the government killing its own citizens. Hiyo ni kitu imekuwa ikihappen hapa Kenya. And yeah, so umse akiweza kuresist for 2 years itakuwa tricky sana kubring up even the issue. But tuendelee.
Tena nimekubali. Ni ukweli na tena nimefurahi akikumbuka hiyo.
Raila Amolo Odinga is a hero. Na is a hero si ya Wajaluo, si ya Wakenya, dunia mzima, East and Central.
In eulogizing the late Raila, Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama, who was the special guest at the celebrations, acknowledged the sacrifice and commitment from the former premier in advocating for human rights and good governance. It was on 17th October at this specific venue where Kenyans stand up in large numbers to pay their tributes to their fallen hero, the former Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, through a state funeral. It is also at this particular venue where President William Ruto led Kenyans in eulogizing and celebrating the achievements of the fallen legend.
So nilicheki another debate that ended up happening, I think online. I saw the debate where watu walikuwa wanauliza like kwa nini Kibaki so far hana road na hana nini. And it's interesting because when you come to think about it, we have Moi International Stadium Kasarani, which is Kasarani Stadium, and we have Nyayo. Na si tuko najua Nyayo ni Moi. So one has to give. So which one should give? Should it be Moi International Kasarani because iko Thika Road? Don't forget that Thika Road tunai-associate na Kibaki. The Kibaki presidency is the one who was able to make that really smooth. So what should happen with that? Because another thing about this is, another thing that happened is Uhuru alipat change Mbagathi to Raila Odinga way. alafu so saizi Ruto another stadium. So at some point now, and I understand the level of Nene, like what's going on here, like yeah, what's going on here? We need something for Kibaki, because even with his flaws and what, he still remains, he come to economics, the most economically transformative president. Like I look at a lot of stuff that even happens right now and na credit Kibaki for that. Like kuna time magari kwa barabara hapa Kenya ilikuwa less kabisa. Kuna time ilikuwa inachukuaga like basi ina drive at a very ridiculous rate kufika Kisumu kwa inachukua 12 hours. Kunafika hapo kama tako inauma kabisa. So hizi roads zikabaki zimetokea. Na the last time nikikuwa hapa na Kibe tukiargue hiyo story. So yes, I don't know why they felt like not honoring him with a road, especially mseka Uhuru after kupatia Raila Mbagathi. He should have thought about that, just the Kibaki way or something, I don't know, because of course one thing ile happening time ya Kibaki ilikuwa kipumbavu ni ile 40 bob. Watu wengi walisahau hiyo 40 bob jo. Ile 40 bob ilikujaga ikekwa sura ya Kibaki and then watu waka complain and after somehow it end up disappear. I don't know if it still exists, and come in exist, when's the last time that you saw it? Ekonene. So the festive season is here. Na Lemfi wako na a very great offer kwako. Abaki umesign up ukitumia the promo code Ekonene, and on your first transaction ya $50 ukisend home unabaki umepata a $20 sign up reward. Najua $20 sign up reward on your first transaction of $50 only. Why? Because it's the festive season. Baki umechangamka, tumia promo code Ekonene, ingia Lemfi. Why? Upate the most competitive exchange rates. Alafu pia inakuwaga ni chap like transactions ziko instant. Changamka haraka, Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Ekonene. But still nothing that Ruto libonga juu yake ilikuwa ni barabara, especially barabara ya kutoka kwa airport. Kwa ushawatch Ekonene long enough unajuaga muteta sana that the worst thing about Kenya ni ukisha land tu hivi, alafu especially kwa umetoka from a first world country, ukiland tu Kenya hivi alafu fike hapo Mombasa road, unajua go umeingia third world country. And kwa one of those really sad things, especially tuseme kwa kutumia expressway. Kwa unatumia expressway you can maybe forget that uko kwa third world country, but kwa uko huku chini guaranteed because naingiago unaanza najua hizo mabump zingine zilazijua ni road kwa even road ni chafu. Historia ya road kwa chafu, it's one of the things that people don't take seriously. I always feel like it would create a lot of jobs, and it would also make people spend less on cleaning their cars, because unajua gari yako itakuwa na too much dust, alafu pia maybe to spend less on paint. But maybe that's an argument for another day. But wacha tusikize vile Ruto alikuwa anabonga juu Nairobi na decongest.
And in his Jamhuri Day speech, President William Ruto detailed his ambitious plan to decongest traffic in the capital city. He announced the construction of an expressway on Thika Road and expounded on plans to dual the circuit linking the Bomas, Ongatarongai, Kiserian Road and the Bomas, Karen, Ngong Road. In what he styled as a Christmas present, President Ruto also touted the rehabilitation of the roads that shoulder the expressway from JKIA to the ABC junction on Waiyaki Way.
So yeah, hiyo barabara ya kutoka airport and wase kawe ni wale ntonga ni summer bunnies. Yes, kawe ni ka summer bunny flani. You'll agree with me if you come to Kenya enough times unajuaga ukitoka kwa airport that road is very disappointing, because you always like man, this is the first experience wase wana have ya Kenya bana. It should not be like wacha tufiche Ngodha imetoboka, lakini wacha tuifiche. Inafaa kwa hiyo barabara up to CBD should be super smooth, alafu up to West should be super smooth. Unajua zile ma areas wasa wanaenda up to nini, alafu before you know it umechange the whole country iko na smooth road. So yes, this was one of those like interesting things kusikia umse akibonga juu yake, because yes, at the end of the day if he wins, Kenya wins, and we are all trying to see Kenya win. So wacha tusikize.
As part of his grand economic freedom project, President Ruto on Friday built upon his plan to leverage transport and logistics to propel Kenya into the future. With Nairobi hosting the commemoration of Kenya's liberation from colonial rule, it was its turn to hear what goodies the president came bearing, as characterizes his development tours across the country. Roads are usually a staple, and the president did not disappoint.
Tunajenga zile barabara ambazo zilikuwa zimekwama hapa Nairobi. Tumerudisha contractors wote ambao walikuwa pale barabarani. Na sasa barabara zinaendelea kilomita 60 hapa Nairobi.
On that list, Muhuri and Mamawahu roads in Dagoretti South, Mihango Link Bypass in Embakasi East, Umoja 1 SDA Road in Embakasi West.
Okay, and what about Wanye? Wanye Road? Wase wa Dago, jo. Wanye bado ina exist. Niko napitaga area nikiwa Mtoi. So nakumbuka niko natokaga Junction before kuenda hiyo Junction Mall. So I think what used to be there was Kenya Science Teachers College. So kuna toka hivyo. Then hiyo roundabout haikuwa hivyo. Hiyo whatever expressway inatengenezwa huko juu haikuwa, of course hiyo ni ya majuzi. Alafu ulikuwa ukiteremka nilikuwa naenda Nini Kawangware. Uko na piga like on your left kuna Wanye. Chika Wanye bado ina exist yo. Zabaki meniambia kaa uko Masaiza Dago.
1 SDA Road in Embakasi West, Road C in Embakasi South, and the Ndigwa Road in Roysambu.
Pia mumeona pale Valley Road, ile barabara ilikuwa imekwama pale, tumeleta contractor anaendelea na kazi. Ile barabara ya Ngong Road pia inaendelea. Barabara ya Haile Selassie vile vile inaendelea.
Okay, Valley Road kuna prepare ina happen. What's the last time I was on Valley Road? Damn. It's been a minute, huh? It's been a minute. Valley Road inaendelea cause najua kuna hiyo nini ukitoka Kenyatta Avenue. Ukiingia Kenyatta Avenue kutoka kina Valley Road, kutoka hiyo Saiza community, I know there's something there that's being built, but I didn't know there's something actually on Valley Road. I guess I need to use Valley Road soon and see how that's going to turn out to be. Itakuwa interesting because the more that tunaendelea kumultilayer hizi barabara, the more tunaweza kuclaim hiyo story ya these roads look like this, because na kuna time mtu aliwekaga ile expressway jo akisema this looks like New York and Shanghai. Kuna mlami jo alimzima jo alimwambia this one road because najua kuna kwa hii aerial shot fulani ile nishaicheki kwa movie. Kwa ni movie gani? I think the Lincoln Lawyer, if I'm not wrong. The movie, not the series. Kuna hiyo aerial shot ya LA ile unachiki tu mabarabara zimepita na chini. Ilikuwa like crazy. And of course now China does even crazier stuff than that, because China saizi wamekuwa kibuild vitu right now and they are going really wild. So yeah, but itakuwa interesting kucheki. You have Valley Road, I don't know what's happening there, but
much more significantly, the president announced plans to construct a Thika Road expressway beginning next year.
Mwaka ujao vile tuko na expressway kutoka JKIA, pia tutajenga expressway kutoka Thika mpaka ifike hapa Museum Hill.
As highlighted in his State of the Nation address 3 weeks ago, President William Ruto also mapped out plans to dual the Bomas-Karen Ngong and Bomas-Ongata-Rongai Kiserian circuit as part of the comprehensive network of 2,500 highways for dualing and 28,000 kilometers of roads he plans to have tarmacked in the next 10 years.
I guess ile mathri kutu ya kwenda Rongai, it's coming as a blessing kwa nyinyi watu wa Rongai jo. Nacheki finally watu wa diaspora finally itakuwa ni okay. Hiyo area inakuwa nini, because inakuwa na traffic sana. Anaweza taka Kenya tufike level where people can live further away from CBD. That would be a good thing, najua. And because inakuwa very messed up that we have to live close because of traffic. And apart from that, licheki like Rwanda majuzi wameanzisha lanes imeandikwa bus only. And that's one of the things kwa expect Buddha anaitwa Sakaja. And enda China jo. Ona hizi ma train kuzinisikia Sakaja libonga anataka kuleta trams hapa Kenya. So hizo trams instead of kuchimba, ka Chinese wanaweza zidu bila kuchimba. Tulete hizo, let's keep a step. We don't have to do a technology that was there in the 90s. If people have gone past that, let's use that. Let's bring these trams. Alafu let's be very strict. Kwe nje ya trams haitumiki na any private car, ikuwe ni public, means PSV ya M3, no, it has to be government owned because it moves a lot of people at a time. So kama hizo trams za China kwa tiketi zina move to 500. Try and imagine if we had such, like ina move to 500, alafu speed iko ni 45. Yes, wasema speed ni 45 miles per hour, which is 72 kilometers per hour. Try and imagine that. People can live anywhere, unajua. Inza kwa, I don't know how many kilometers away at the river is, but I'm sure it's less than 72 kilometers. Okay, let's say that's 1 hour. That would be good. And alafu pia itakuwa predictable. If there's that bus lane, that would be predictable. Would that end up like killing a few industries, a few M3s? Yes, but it's the price that we have to pay if you want to move Kenya to that efficiency. Najua tuwezi worry about individual businesses. Watu watasema like, what about the people who work there? Somehow they'll be absorbed in the system. That's what happens. Najua kitambo kuna wasa walikuwa nawaka kwa cyber cafes. Ushaikaga chini kwa juliza, nini lifanyikia? Watu walikuwa na cyber cafes kwa zimejaa kitambo because they needed a lot of staff members. Nowadays they don't, but somehow we've survived. So any industry can evolve.
Wananchi wengi wanaishi Kiserian, wanaishi Rongai, wanaishi Ngong, na kuna msongamano mkubwa sana wa wananchi wakikuja asubuhi na kurudi nyumbani jioni. Ningependa kutangaza ya kwamba mwaka ujao ile barabara kutoka Bomas of Kenya kwenda Rongai kwenda mpaka Kiserian na barabara kutoka Bomas of Kenya kwenda Karen kwenda pale Shade Hotel, kuteremuka kwenda Ngong, kwenda Bulbul na kwenda mpaka ifike kule Kiserian.
Okay, damn, Shade Hotel. Shade Hotel still exists. Kwa kawe ni Gen Z, niko sure most probably aujijia Shade Hotel. Shade Hotel tulijuaga juu ya Vitimbi. Yeah, so Vitimbi ilikuwa set in a hotel. This was back in the days, Mzee Juang and what. So it used to be set in Shade Hotel. Shade Hotel iko Karen. Like, damn, I didn't know it's still there. I don't even know how it looks. Is it a fancy place? Is it not a fancy? I actually don't know. Because hiyo kwa zile school kuna uchigi TVs kwa black and white. So half memory yangu aga messed up. So maybe there's a probability I've been there, but I can't remember. Shit. Because nishai kuaga Isli like, not Isli, Karen a couple of times. Even as a kid, najua. Like, kitu moja ile ni hapeniaga nikiwa mtoi. One of the things I've never forgotten is nilipataga hizi nini, naitwa nini hizi, I don't know what the hell they used to be called. Hizi nini tonsils. Hizi kwa zinaenda kutolewa. So mizangu ilibidi zitolewe. Well, so which really messes me up because nikibrush meno, awaga na gag. Like waga nikifikisha brush certain regions I have to gag. So that's one of the things that hizo nini inakazi kwa zinasaidia nayo. And I remember that hizo nikienda kutolewa nilipeleka kwa kabuda fulani kalikuwa hizo masai za Karen, which now coming to think of it I'm like, damn, Karen, man. Nilipeleka kwa nini fulani jo nikatolewa jo. Katolewa hizo vitu nikiwa mtoi nililia jo. Damn, memories as a kid.
Tutaifanya iwe dual carriageway.
But before the year ends, President Ruto gave notice that works will begin on the roads that shoulder another president's legacy project.
Kuanzia hii Disemba mukienda Krismasi, tutajenga upya barabara kutoka kule JKIA kupitia hapa mpaka kule ABC na tuifanyie beautification ndio Nairobi ionekane kama city ya taifa letu la Kenya.
Okay, so it's very important. I think one of my rants kwa shaisikiaga niko na rant, kuna time I was ranting and asking like, does the president actually use that road when he's coming from those trips of his? And yeah, because if you've used that road, you're kutoka airport, one of the things that you'll notice is you're not proud. You just feel like what's happening here? Yes, sisi ni third world, but I feel like that level inakamiki, it's now the level of incompetence, where this is the biggest airport in Kenya. This is the first interaction wase wana have now with Kenya. Alafu kitoka ni ma potholes. Kumbuka hata majuzi vile ule dem anaitwa When Kelis was reviewing Kenya, one of the things she said is she loves everything about Kenya except how we don't repair potholes. Najua. And it's such a big issue that even ukikaga chini, Kenya is the sort of place ukikaa chini, kuna magari muna gaso wakidrive nashinda like damn, hasa wanaishi wapi? Kuna chiki gari iko chini, nashinda sasa hii gari ikipatana na pothole mzuri ya Nairobi, how is this car supposed to survive? So hopefully watatengeneza hiyo up to ABC. That's interesting. And because that ABC wherever you're like that road, like so much has changed in Nairobi. I remember ilikuwa when like now this night, like Saturday night, tulikuwa tumeenda comedy ni Hoyo's Kitchen, so tulikuwa na Ian, alafu tukabaki tumepitia processional way aka former Ruto way. Try to imagine if we end up with a president with a sense of humor years from now, alafu abaki name processional way William Ruto way. That would be funny. So tukitoka hapo I notice kitu moja nikaanza kuenjoy and like damn, I'm seeing a canopy of trees. Like that's what happens like when you don't go through a place for long. Like that place has changed. Kwa sababu amekuwa kitumia consistently, they won't notice the change. But for someone like me who I can't even remember the last time I used processional way, somehow mujipataga Dennis Prit, but I never used processional way. Mujipatata kwa nile majuzi nikienda event inaitwa nini, nikienda ile event ya hip hop Kicks and Bars, nilikuwa State House Road, but somehow I didn't use processional way. So tukitumia na notice mpaka nikaa miti zinaenda kushikana like this, they're building that car. Mimi kuna ita ni canopy, and I was actually impressed because unachika vile mutetagajia hakuna miti Nairobi. So we can see such small changes, and these small changes with time they end up turning into something big. So what's happening? Ile kitu nimesema, a lot of stuff zile nilisikia kwa hiyo speech, they actually impressed me. Why? Because if the president wins, Kenya wins. Najua, we have to look at also that even as we go forward. Some of these things are good for us. If there is a year like kufika Rongai becomes easier, it's good for everyone. If kufika Thika becomes easier, it's good for everyone. Najua, if your airport vile nilikuwa nasema kwa mewachilo inko nini long enough, najua vile nimetetaga juu ya ukitoka airport, that road just pisses me off. That will also be good enough. So I'd say we come to like what is it called, grading that speech. I think if the projects are being done, because ile project moja ile ya nini hiyo niliona hii moja ya this place, what is it called, I think when Nairobi is empty like during this festive period, I need to, I don't know place ya kutafuta gari, but I need kutafuta gari niende nayo ni record for maybe people who are out there walajaona. But hiyo njia hapo junction, that key expressway that's being built, that's going to look dope. That's going to be some shit. After the fact that kuna watu wanasema that has been done in less than a year, I don't know, like I was hearing people saying that it's been done in a few months. That also shows you the power of precast, because now everything there was precasted, and looks really good. So let's go step by step, man. I was impressed, and hopefully history at tolls, because now ikikamtile Mauri Roni watu wanateta juu tolls. We shouldn't pay fuel levy and then pay tolls, but we welcome the roads, man. This is what's going to push Kenya to the next level. And if so like in Rironi, if they end up claiming we have to pay the tolls, then it can't be at the same rate ya Nairobi. Because nakumbuka majuzi kutoka Mombasa, I think tuliingilia wapi? Tuliingilia hapo Masaiza Kitengela. Wasa wanatoka huko najua. Tuliingia Kitengela, alafu tukakuja kutokelea hapa karibu na South Sea, and it was 400 shillings. I was like, damn, that's expensive. So if I was to use the expressway till Kisumu, how much would that be? Maybe 4,000 shillings? You understand? That would be ridiculous. That beats the purpose. Like, yes, I save fuel, but I'm not saving any money. It makes no sense. So interesting speech. And but apart from the speech, I'd say what caught my attention was that fighter jet. That fighter jet was different, man. Like shit. Nikikwambia nilienda kwa balcony nikishindwa nini imehappen. Kuna kitu imeanguka. So it was actually good news kujua that nothing had happened. Like no one died and no one what. But yes, to think that bila kwa chiki wasona joke wakiona huo msema ameshtuka, he's a civilian president. That's within his rights kushtuka. And yeah, damn, saizi nimenotice I've actually said a lot of positive stuff about Ruto. Ama nimelipwa jo. Niambie hapo kwa comments. Iko nene.